Hello folks, and welcome back to Cabin's Luxury. Today, we're diving into the exciting world of futuristic transportation, and we're talking about none other than the Hyperloop. If you haven't heard of it, you're in for a treat. The Hyperloop is like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, promising to move passengers and cargo at lightning-fast speeds, exceeding 1,200 kilometers per hour through vacuum-sealed tubes across long distances. It's insane, right? But why haven't we seen a fully functional Hyperloop system yet? Well, building this type of transportation is no easy feat. It requires a lot of investment, regulatory frameworks, and technical expertise. It's like building a spaceship, but on Earth. Elon Musk first introduced the idea of the Hyperloop back in 2013, and people went nuts for it. His vision was for passenger pods to fly through vacuum-sealed tubes using magnetic levitation and electric propulsion to avoid all the usual things that slow us down, like friction and air resistance. But even though it's been years since that first announcement, we still don't have a fully functional Hyperloop system. Several companies have tried to develop their own versions of the technology, but so far, none have hit the mark. Is the Hyperloop just a pipe dream, or could it still become a reality? There have been some serious challenges along the way, like the high cost of development and the lack of regulatory frameworks to govern this brand new mode of transportation. Plus, building a vacuum-sealed system that can handle high-pressure differentials is no easy feat. The challenges of building a Hyperloop system. Building a Hyperloop system is like trying to create a sci-fi dream come true. The cost of developing the technology is no joke and requires a lot of investment. Although some companies have managed to secure funding, building and testing a full-scale system is an expensive and challenging task that can make your wallet cry. Aside from the financial challenge, the Hyperloop faces regulatory issues. Since it's a new mode of transportation, there are no existing regulations in place to govern it. This means companies have to work with governments to create regulations, which can be a real pain in the neck and may take some time and effort. On top of all that, the technical hurdles are pretty high. Just think about it. The pods need to travel in vacuum-sealed tubes, which have to withstand a high-pressure differential. That's not all. The pods themselves have to be designed to work in a vacuum environment, which means providing oxygen supply and air conditioning, among other things. Progress in Hyperloop development. The Hyperloop may still be a dream, but some companies are making waves in its development. The Virgin Hyperloop team is leading the pack with their impressive progress, including building test tracks and partnering with governments to shape regulations. In 2020, they even had their first passenger test, where two brave souls launched down a 500-meter tube at 107 miles per hour in the middle of the Nevada desert. And they weren't the only ones making strides. Companies like Hyperloop Transportation Technologies and Zelleros are also in the game. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. There's still a long way to go before we can zip around in vacuum-sealed tubes at lightning speeds. Is the Hyperloop still a viable concept? Despite the challenges, this innovative mode of transportation is still a viable concept that could revolutionize the way we travel. Just imagine being able to get from one city to another in a fraction of the time it currently takes, while also being kinder to the environment. And it's not just passenger travel that could benefit from the Hyperloop. Cargo transportation could also become faster and more efficient, potentially reducing costs and increasing accessibility to goods across the globe. Of course, there are still some hurdles to overcome before the Hyperloop becomes a reality. Technical challenges must be tackled, regulatory frameworks developed, and significant investment is required to build and test the technology. But despite these obstacles, the potential benefits of the Hyperloop are too great to ignore. Now, here's the exciting news. The leaders in Hyperloop technology have shifted their focus from passenger transportation to freight transportation. That's right, they want to perfect the technology by moving goods first before venturing into transporting people. And it makes sense. Cargo won't suffer from motion sickness, and there are fewer regulatory headaches to worry about. Sure, there have been skeptics and critics of the Hyperloop, questioning whether near-perfect vacuum can be sustained over long distances, or how the tubes can navigate turns without incurring additional costs. But the team behind the Hyperloop is determined to make it work, even if it means burying the tubes underground to achieve straighter lines. And with the rise of e-commerce and the demand for faster and more efficient delivery methods, the Hyperloop could be the perfect solution. Mastering freight delivery with the Virgin Hyperloop. Imagine being able to get your package delivered in just 16 hours instead of waiting days and weeks and sometimes even months. How cool is that? So here's the deal. The Hyperloop uses magnets and vacuum-sealed tubes to propel cargo pods at speeds of up to 760 miles per hour, faster than a commercial airplane. Plus, it's way more eco-friendly and reliable than other transportation options. No more worrying about weather delays or getting stuck in traffic. Now I know what you're thinking. Creating something this revolutionary isn't going to be easy. It's going to take a whole lot of infrastructure building and, of course, a whole lot of money. But if it means we can have faster, more efficient cargo delivery, it's totally worth it. What do you think? Let us know your thoughts. Speaking of which, have you heard of Masterworks? They're a tech company that's disrupting the art market by letting investors own a piece of high-value art for a fraction of the cost. Plus, they recently sold a painting for a 27.2% return to investors while the stock market was down. Pretty impressive, right? Here's the fun part. Masterworks is already thinking ahead and getting ready to take advantage of the Hyperloop's potential benefits. With Hyperloop, they could get their art to buyers faster, more efficiently, and with less risk of damage. It's a win-win situation for everyone involved. The most exciting recent development in the world of Hyperloop by the Biden administration that it'll provide funding for a feasibility study of a potential Hyperloop route between New York City and Washington, D.C. This study will assess the technical, financial, and environmental feasibility of such a route, which could potentially transport passengers and cargo at speeds of up to 700 miles per hour. Of course, there are still challenges to be overcome before Hyperloop becomes a reality. One of the biggest hurdles is the cost of building the necessary infrastructure, including the vacuum-sealed tubes, magnetic levitation tracks, and support structures. This is no small feat and will likely require significant investment from both public and private sources. Additionally, there are still questions about the safety and reliability of the Hyperloop, especially given the high speeds involved. While the technology has shown promise in test runs, it will need to undergo much more rigorous testing before it can be considered a safe and viable option for transporting people and goods. Despite these challenges, however, there is still plenty of reason to be optimistic about the future of Hyperloop. With ongoing development, successful test runs, and increased interest from investors and governments, it seems likely that we will see some form of Hyperloop become a reality in the not-too-distant future. As an example of the potential impact of the Hyperloop, let's imagine a world in which the technology is fully developed and operational. Imagine a company like Amazon, which currently relies on trucks and planes to deliver its products, embracing Hyperloop as a more efficient and environmentally friendly option. With Hyperloop, Amazon could transport goods across the country in a matter of hours rather than days, which would massively reduce delivery times and costs. This would be a game changer for the retail industry and could potentially pave the way for a whole new era of commerce and logistics. So what does the future hold for the Hyperloop? Well, while it's uncertain whether we'll see commercial Hyperloop lines anytime soon, the potential benefits of this technology are too great to ignore. It would transform the way we travel, making it faster, safer, and more sustainable. And let's be honest, who doesn't want to travel at lightning-fast speeds through vacuum-sealed tubes? The Hyperloop may be taking its time to get off the ground, but one thing's for sure, the dream is alive and well. That's a wrap, folks. Thanks for tuning in to our journey through the past, present, and future of the Hyperloop. don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. Until next time, happy travels!